You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, CBS soap opera fans. This is Soap Dirt on YouTube, and we need to talk about the visit that Taylor Haze made to Sheila Carter in jail this week on Bold and the Beautiful, because it sure looks like that Taylor has provoked Sheila, and I would guess that we are looking at something really bad coming, some madness and mayhem for May sweeps. Let's talk about this for a minute, but first, if you haven't already subscribed, please click the subscribe button below so that you don't miss any of your favorite Bold and the Beautiful or other soap videos and updates from Soap Dirt on YouTube. And now let's dig into this. First, let's talk about the visit. So Bill had showed up at Forrester Creations. Nobody was expecting to see Bill Spencer there. But he showed up, he chatted with Katie, but in fact, he was looking for Taylor Haze. And that seems odd because they're not exactly pals. You'll remember that Taylor shot him a few years ago because she decided he had taken advantage of Steffi Forrester on that one night that they had together. And of course he didn't, but her parents wanted to think that. So she snapped, had a little psychotic break, and shot him. And that specific piece of information right there that Sheila Carter knew about made it to where Sheila could leverage Taylor because she kept threatening to report her to the police. And that was all part of the basis for Bill's long con to entrap Sheila and make sure she goes to prison for the rest of her life. So Bill worked out a deal as part of the FBI sting where Taylor is exonerated for shooting him. It's not always up to the victim, by the way, if you know anything about the law, that sometimes a victim can say, oh, I'm not going to press charges, and there's nothing they can do about it. Like if someone punches you in the face and you're like, it's fine, you can call that off. But in a case of a capital crime, which is what shooting someone is, anything that could kill someone is a capital crime. In case of a capital crime, the victim can't just say, oh no, I'm not going to do that. That's not an option. So even if Bill didn't want to press charges, the state or federal level could press charges on Taylor. But Bill took care of that. He cleaned up the mess, and as part of the deal to nail Sheila, Taylor's off the hook. And so Bill told Taylor, I think you probably have some things to say to Sheila. And of course she does. So they went over to the jail, and Taylor chewed her a new one and told her what a piece of garbage she is. She absolutely read her for filth and reminded her that she tried to kill her own son and then tried to kill Taylor's daughter. And what's insidious about all this is you might remember that Sheila Carter really likes Taylor Haze. They were friendly because they share a grandson, little Haze Forrester Finnegan, and they were doing okay. You could tell that Sheila made Taylor a little uncomfortable, like when she used to show up at her psychiatric office at the hospital. But Sheila was very friendly with her, and part of that is the fact that Sheila despises Brooke Logan, and so she was cheerleading Taylor to get back with Ridge, and she kind of saw them as friends. And honestly, Taylor, she's kind of got a sweet spirit about her, and she was being quasi-friendly with Sheila. But now it's clear that was all a mistake because she shot Steffi, she shot Finn. And so what Taylor points out to her is when it came down to it, you shot our children to save your own ass. And she was completely accurate when she told Sheila she was garbage for putting herself in front of her children, and that she almost left the grandchildren with no parents, and just everything Taylor said was spot on. But then Taylor got into making some threats. And this is what I feel is really important for this conversation, because you could see this visceral reaction from Sheila when Taylor just started dropping these truth bomb / threats on her. She was saying things like, you're going to be in prison for life. You are never going to see your son again. Everybody will forget you. Everybody will forget your name. Your grandson Haze will not know who you are. He will never know your name. You will never see him again. And you could just see Sheila's reaction to that all sank in, and Sheila just kind of went dead-eyed, and it's kind of like, oh shit. Taylor just provoked the nine-toed psycho. And of course, they're all feeling very safe because they did this FBI sting, and Sheila is in jail. But let's not forget, Sheila's gotten out of jail plenty of times before. Now, granted, her buddy, who was the guard that helped her out before, is himself in jail because he got busted for that. But he has a long-standing crush on Sheila, and as a former jailhouse employee, he probably still has some friends there. I do not doubt at all that Sheila is going to break loose during May sweeps. I feel confident we're going to have May sweeps, mayhem and madness, with Sheila Carter front and center doing bad things. Now, before this interaction with Taylor, Sheila might have escaped and run out on her 9 toes, leaving LA on the 101, just running out of town. But Taylor has just said some very provoking things to Sheila. And Sheila, let's not forget, she's been playing nice for a while, but she's a full-blown nutbag murdering psycho. Just because she's been embracing normalcy to some extent, let's not forget, she's terrifying and she's wily and she can definitely get out of jail. So predictions, let's just go through this. Predictions. 1, Sheila gets out of jail in May sweeps. 2, she comes for the people that she blames for her predicament. Of course, she doesn't blame herself. She blames Ridge and she blames Bill Spencer. She cares about Deacon, so I think she might come for him, but I don't think she's going to try and hurt him. And then the last thing is, because of the threats about her grandson, I feel like there might be risk to little Haze Forrester Finnegan coming soon. She knows full well that Finn is never going to forgive her. He is done. He did save her life while Lee Finnegan was letting her flatline and was going to let her die, but there's no doubt in my mind that Finn is not somebody who's going to be forgiving of her ever. However, baby Haze is another matter. Sheila could snatch her grandson, take off, and think, oh, I'm just going to reboot. I'm going to restart a family. I have this baby. I'll be a good mom, and I'll really do everything right this time. I could see in her twisted mind that she thinks that that will somehow redeem her. Plus, with Taylor making those threats about this baby will never know who you are, it seems like she is not going to accept that. She's not going to take it. She's not going to let that baby grow up thinking that Taylor is the only grandmother and Lee will be there. Brooke will probably be in the mix as Ridge's wife. And there's no way that Sheila is going to leave her little baby grandson with those people without knowing her if there's anything she can do about it. And we certainly suspect that she is going to try to do something about it. We'll see.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.